It's March 7th. My trip is over. And I fly out tomorrow morning. I'm in a hotel in windy Wellington. And I would like to read you a story because, well, I wrote a bunch of shit down. So boo hiss. I'm your narrator. This is the final video blog of my Te Araroa experience. And here goes nothing. I was not supposed to be here until tomorrow. The weather has been in charge of the decisions around here. After the trail ended, I rented a van with Louie, and we traveled around the west coast. We saw waterfalls and glaciers and glowworms. From there, I said my final goodbye to my friend. And I flew from Christchurch to Nelson. I stayed in Nelson at a lovely Airbnb. And after that, I was on my way to Shambhala, the yoga retreat. My hostess, my Airbnb hostess, offered for me to leave my camping gear at her house while I went to the retreat so that I did not have to carry too much, as I was very tired. So I left my things and my medal that I received for walking the Te Araroa. I got a medal with my Airbnb host. I traveled over a road that washed out from the cyclone in a van. I was met with open arms at Shambhala. I did yoga and traveled in a tiny yellow car named Vera with Duffy to sightsee in Golden Bay while listening to Weezer's Blue album. I haven't heard that one since high school. It was great. I arrived feeling emotional from the end of my hiking trip. But Annie, Merta, Fab, Andy, Duffy, Jorid, and John were the best medicine. And so was the book The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. In the book, a boy learned to speak to the soul of the worlds. Because in all things is only one thing. I left Shambhala this morning by means of a detour caused by the cyclone. I took a van and I started to get carsick from this van. Today was very bad weather. And then I remembered The Alchemist. As I sat on a catamaran sailing around on huge swells of the Tasman Sea, I asked the water to help me be one with it. And not to hold tension in my body. And I did so. I was not sick. On my next van that I had to ride on, I asked the earth to help me to be one with it. To help me to not hold tension in my body. And I did. And I did not get sick. I arrived at the airport and found that my flight, that was supposed to be tomorrow, had been changed, and my new flight left in 10 minutes. I almost threw up right then. My things were left at my hostess's house, but I had to make the call to get on my international flight. I flew in this terrible weather from the South Island to the North Island. The turbulence was awful. I asked the wind to help me to be one with it and to not hold tension in my body. I did so and I was not sick. I had a burning of despair for my belongings that were left behind, and it ate at my stomach and it pulled at my heart. As my tent, my sleeping bag, my blow-up air mattress, my stuff. But I asked my Airbnb host to ship it to me and I pay the costs. And she said yes. I asked the fire to purify my thoughts and allow me to become one with it, to let go of the tension burning in my body. I did so, and I had faith that my things would safely travel to me again. Now I must safely travel past this weather that may turn into cyclone number 3. I think it's called Hola or Hona. And get home. Strangely, I am calm now as I reflect on the end of my New Zealand journey. To be at the end of one adventure and at the doorstep of the one next to come is a very transformative place to be. It's like the blank canvas, or it's like the space in between words, or in between a breath. It's nothing but potential, which encompasses everything. It's all right here. Emotions from the recent past can make us yearn for more, but even if more comes, there will also be an end to that eventually. So we search for meaning. Everything that we deal with is only one thing and nothing else. It is love or the lack we perceive of it. We are so much more than the stories we tell ourselves. Even though we wander the earth and marvel at its beauty, and the way the sun seems to rise and circle the sky and set in the same place that it rose from, at least in New Zealand, it really throws off my internal compass. But I have everything I need, always with me, and allowing me to stand at the end of a beautiful experience and on the brink of an unknown new adventure, full of fear and excitement or whatever else, but nothing never happens. So it's okay not to know what comes next. I think it is powerful to remember that in the end, everything will be okay. And if it's not okay, then my friend, it's not the end. Now, what to do about this permit I have for the PCT on May 18th?